And yeah,
There it
that's
goes.
great.
All right.
Okay, so hello everyone. So let me go to my slide deck, and I hope that the technology coordinate with me work with me today. Let me see. I need to share my screen. Hold on. Okay. Share from the beginning. So does everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, we do. We can see it.
You can say, okay, great, thank you. Yeah, so yep, so today this is our topic, right? So we, other than, I think a lot of people when they need when they need like, capital injection to their small business, a lot of time, of course, the first thing they come to their mind is to, go to traditional big banks, right? Like, B of A, Wells Fargo's and Citibanks and so on and so forth. But in case for whatever reason, right, the small business are able to get the loan from the big banks, right, or from investor. So what to do, right? So today we try to cover that, and then give you some option to consider. So let's go to the I call that like back to basic, right? So basically, uh, when you try to get a loan or something, right, or funding from investor, right? There's certain things that the investor look for. Sometimes whether it's like traditional or non-traditional kind of like funding source, they still kind of looking at the same thing, but then but they may weigh the matrix a little bit differently. But then by the end of the day, they want to make sure that whoever that they loan money to, right, they be able to repay the loan. And so so there's a something that the lending institution, right, bank or whatever, or investor, they always use is called the 5 C's of credit, right? I think that some of you might have heard of it in the past. So that is something that the lender or investor use to as a part of the qualification process, and then check out the credit worthiness of the small business or individual, and see whether they are good candidate, right, to receive the loan. So there's 5 C's. So they are character, capacity, collateral, capital, and conditions. So let's dive right in and see, just talk about what they actually are, right? So character. So character, it's basically it's a evaluation, right, of the small business or the business owner. If you are a proprietor, so the person he himself or herself, whether they have a market potential, understand the market potential of the business, and also how you or the small business are able to grow your business, right? To improve your business after you get the funding. Because let's say if you get a loan and then you have no idea how to grow your business, and then the business like keep going down, then you won't be, obviously, then you won't be able to repay your debt. So basically is to show the management whether the borrower has the financial management skill and has the right skill to grow and manage the business, and then therefore, right, able to demonstrate based on the past history whether there's a ability to repay the loan to the lender. And then capacity. Capacity is basically look at whether the business are able to generate enough cash flow to cover your debt payment. So it would basically look at like, how much debt you have now, what's your like past history in regarding repayment your loan, repay your loan, and then also whether your business have the cash flow moving forward to make the loan payment, right? So so that's basically is your capacity. So very very important thing is like, when you have a chance to sit down with your banker to talk about the loan, you need to show them that you know how to expand your business, grow your business, and also make your business profitable, right? So if you're not able to convince them that you will be able to make a business, which is profitable, right? Then it will, decrease the chance, right, of getting a loan big time, right? And then collateral. In terms of collateral, it's kind of like a backup resource, right? In case for some reason, right, you're not able to, you're delinquent or you're not able to pay down your debt. What kind of assets, right, you have, right, as a emergency, the source of funding to repay the loan, right, to repay the debt. So that could, including like real estate or maybe equipment or maybe inventory. And sometimes, in some cases, people might even need to have a personal guarantee. So in that case, right, so your home could be, one of your could be the collateral. But among all these, like the 5 C's, collateral is probably the least important one. But by all means, like all 5 C's are important, but then, relatively speaking, right, if you compare with the 5 C's, the collateral might, has a lesser weight in comparison with the other C's. And then capital. It just basically for in case something happens, does your business or yourself can to cover something if something unexpected happen, right? Whether you or your business, right, can cover the loan payment. So so for example, right? So let's say your business actually does have an investment account, for example, right? You have some money put away, maybe that generates some interest. So that could be your capital, just in case something happened, then you can dip into your investment, right? Or maybe like you have your own investment account, right? That's in case something happens, right? You can dip into your personal investment account to pay the repay the loan. So it basically is de-risk, right, for the bank to de-risk the loan, when they decided to loan you money. So that's capital. And then condition. Condition is sometimes, when the bankers, right, or the investor, they decided to make the loan to the small business. A lot of time it's depending on the the bigger picture, the bigger environment situation. For example, right, if back in 2008, when we have the Lehman Brothers crisis, actually all the credits are dry up. So it doesn't matter how good your business were, right? So it's just nobody able to get a loan, right? So often the conditions are not uncontrollable, by any, small business or individuals, but it does, have a factors, right? So let's say, for example, right? So nowadays, like energy price is very high, right? Oil and gas are very expensive. So the margin is high, profit margin is bigger, right? Because of that. Then if you are in the oil and gas industry right now, you probably have a more easier time, right, to get a loan, right, than other business, for example, right? Or maybe, it's something trending, right? Then there's a lot of capital flow into that area. Then it might also be easier, for you to raise the capital that you need. So this is condition. And then there's a secret one. It's a surprise. I call that a surprise giveaway. It's a 6C. This is unspoken, but it's a common sense, right? So basically, do you have a right strategy? Does your strategy make sense? I mean, can you convince your banker that you are a good borrower, right? This is, well, are you able to, deliver the right message to the banker, right? So especially when you write your business plan, right? For example, right? So let's say, okay, you plan to open a burrito shops, for example. And then you go talk to your bank and say, oh, I'm the only game in town. And then turn out, there's, burrito shops in every corner of the, street of a corner of the street, each street. Then it's not too convincing to your banker, right? So that means that you don't understand your business. So you need to show the banker that you do understand your business. Competition is okay. I mean, everything you do is competition, right? But it's just like what's your niche and how you be able to convince them that you can grow your business and then you can repay the loan. Okay, so now I talk about discuss the basic of the 6Cs. Those actually you will need it. Doesn't matter, like, again, like what kind of investor you bump into, right? At the end of the day, it's like how likely you're able to repay the debt, right? So let's talk about alternative funding. I'm going to show you guys like 6 different options today. Sometimes there's, like there could be more, but these 6 different ways are the more common one. So like I said earlier, right? So why people need to try to, go to the alternative funding route? It's just because it could be you have tried with traditional banks and then you're not able to get a loan, or maybe you're not able to get a line of credit. And maybe let's say you don't have the desirable business credit score, or maybe you need funding in a hurry. It just needs something for to solve your short-term cash flow issue. So there's a score number of reasons, why people that they need to go to alternative funding source. Now, when I talk about the alternative funding source, it doesn't mean that you go to a loan shark and anything like that. What I describe here is they all have decent interest rate, right? It's not something that you're gonna like hit with like 25% kind of interest rate, like you borrow from credit card or something like that. Okay, so what are the 6 options, right? Of course, one of the options is that you can always, borrow from your friends and family, right? That actually that could maybe easy to do, relatively, I would say like relatively, because if they, you already have the relationship and then they trust you, right? Then it could be a good source of, of capital. And then of course, a lot of people, they would say, hey, I don't want to bother my friends or family, right? So therefore, that's not the route that I'm going to go. because like, sometimes, for some reason, you might hurt the, relationship, down the road, right? So some people they try to avoid going to that route. And then, there's microloan, there's government grants and crowdfunding, peer-to-peer lending, and merchant cash advance. So, so microfinance opportunities basically is a microloan. So the Small Business Administration actually has a microloan program that you can borrow. Small business can borrow anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000. And a lot of time, these lenders are nonprofits, and they are also certified by the federal government. So some of them are actually credit union. And so a lot of these like nonprofits, actually they are mission based. So maybe they focus in lending to women, or maybe the mission is they focus to lending to minorities owned business, or other underserved entrepreneurs, or maybe lending to some disadvantaged area, like certain part of the city, right? That is underserved and disadvantaged. So a lot of these like micro loans lenders, they actually also offer free business advice and mentorship and training at the same time to help the small business to grow. So their mission is actually, is try, the best to help a small business to grow. And then depending, okay, so the SBA I just mentioned, right? The SBA program is only up to 50K, but it depending on the lender. Some might go up to like, some might go for like 100K, some maybe 150, some maybe $500,000, some maybe even $1 million. So kind of like, all over the map in a way, in certain sense. But then, but you just need to, go find the right micro lenders that, fit your business, that understand your business. And then each one will offer like different maximum loan amount. So you just need to work with them, each one individually, and find out which one is the best fit. If you're interested for the SBA micro loan program, you can go to the SBA website. They offer a list of certified source by state by state. So if you go to SBA website, and then you can look for the California certified micro lenders. But again, like, the one that, certified by SBA, they only loan up for the program, right? They only loan up to like 50K. So it may or may not be enough for some people. Oh, sorry. Okay, so some of the best micro loan lenders. I mentioned SBA Micro Loans, and then you have ASEAN USA, you have KIVA. Now for KIVA, I think a lot of people knows about that. They actually offer 0% interest loan for up to 10K. But so a lot of time it's depending on the city's participation and also the funding. So for example, right, they might have the 10K loan program for like a couple months in Los Angeles, and then the program might go away because it's depending whether, how much funding they have, So if the funding is used up, the program will stop. And then later on, maybe like a month or two later, right, they got like another batch of funds, and then they will restart the program again. So what you want to do is if you interested in zero interest 10K loan, you want to visit the KIVA website from time to time. And then as long as you find out, hey, the city that I'm residing in, is having, the program now, then what you want to do is to apply as soon as possible. Otherwise, you might need to wait for, because the funding will go, use up pretty fast, and then you might need to wait, for a while again. And then Lift Fund, Working Solutions. I type in workingsolutions.org is because there's another company called Working Solution. If you try to Google it, it just, you type in working solution, it takes you to another company. So it's not a micro lender. And then also the ASEAN Opportunity Fund. I believe the ASEAN Opportunity Fund, they loan, I think at one time was up to $1 million. I think now probably they will loan up to $500,000, right? But anyway, you want to check on the website and see what's the latest. And then a grant, right? A grant is a good source of capital because they are non-diluted, doesn't need to repay. By all means, go for it if they are available, right? So I'm sure, right, you guys are familiar with the SBA PPP loan. They have a part of it that actually doesn't need to repay, right? And then the EIDL cash advance, and then of course, like last year, we have the California relief grant that for small business that they can like apply. They can get anywhere from like 5,000 up to 25,000 without needing to repay to the government. And actually, also like for profit and also nonprofit organization, they also have like a grant for small business from time to time. For example, right, I think a lot of you also, know about the Verizon grant, small business grant. They every time they put out like a couple $1 million, and then after use up, and then they start another round. So they did start quite a few rounds like in the last couple of years. And then there's grant from Facebook and other for-profit entities. And since we're talking about grants, for those of you are not aware of the new program, like that kind of happening just within the last month or so, there were two programs. One is the California micro business COVID-19 relief grant, and that one is for small business. They haven't received any state of California grant in the past, and then the business started before December 31st, 2019. You'll be able to apply for $2,500. $2,500. So today I want to talk a little bit more about another program. Some of you also may have heard about it already. It's called the California Dream Fund, and you can apply up to $10,000. And this micro grant is basically to try to help small startup business to grow. And there's altogether, I believe, 17 what the state of California called the Technical Assistance Program Centers that you can apply, and most of them are the local SBDC. It just turned out also like MBDA San Jose Business Center is also one of the operator program. Now, some of the SBDC, they already, the application windows already closed. But for MBDA San Jose Business Center, we actually haven't start accept application yet. So this give you a chance if any of you that haven't applied for the California Dream Fund and you're interested, please send us the email. And then by the time when we start accept application, we will notify you. We will email you and let you know. Okay, so what is the California Dream Fund program? So again, right, it's basically up to 10K to seed entrepreneurship and small business. Now the business has to reside in California. So if your business, register outside of California, you're not eligible, right? And then I mentioned before, right? So if you want to apply, you go through the 17 technical assistant expansion program centers. They are mostly SBDC, but again, like the MBDA, San Jose Business Center and San Jose, and then also Asian Link is also one of the operators. So you guys can, contact us again if you're interested to apply for the grant. And yeah, so you can get up to like $10,000 grant, right? That doesn't need to repay. So by all means, if you meet the eligibility, you should really go for it. So what's the requirement? So the first of all, right, the participating small business or the entrepreneur need to complete a defined set of business training classes. And then after that, they need to have at least one session of one-on-one consulting. So basically, we have a business consultant like, Manner, that she will help you and sit down and analyze your business and see how we can, help you to grow your business. And then also a workable business plan. And then the business itself has to be established as a legal entity after 2019, July 1st. So if your business started like before that, then you will not be qualified. And also, like some people, they started like several business, right? They might have they might do different things, but under the same owner. Then you can only apply once. You cannot like have apply, like let's say you have like you own 3 business, right? You can apply 3 times. So you need to pick one business to apply. And then also the small business or the entrepreneurs need to meet the definition of a small business start. We're gonna get into the definition a bit later. And then the area of focus. So it doesn't mean that if you're not in the area of focus, you're not going to get a grant. It doesn't mean that, but then, but that is like, what state want us to focus, what the state want to focus on. So it could be childcare, any kind of services, and cottage food, right? So basically like, home kitchen, anything related to green technology, retail and manufacturing. So basically, actually, it's covered mostly everything, right? Unless you even if you build you're building an EV car, you still are manufacturing, right? You're in manufacturing, right? So okay, so what is the definition of a new business start? So now all you need to do is basically to meet one of the at least one of the requirements. You don't have to meet all of them, but at least one. Of course, you meet more than one will give you a better chance. And also, like if you don't met the requirement now, but so let's say from a time you submit your application and then you got accepted, to the point that because like after you finish the training program and also after you finish the one-on-one consulting sessions, we're going to give you a certificate, right? So from the time you start, you accepted to the program, from the program to the point that you got your certificate, you still have time to to meet some, to do things that, enable you to meet, one of the requirements. For example, so you have all the like business licenses and permits, right, to operate in your city or in the government. I mean, your city, yeah, or in your local. So let's say at a time when you accepted to the program, you don't have the business license. It's okay, as long as before you got your certification, you got the business license, you can prove that you have the business license, then you're good. So that's what I mean. So again, right, all you need to meet is like, one of the requirements listed here. So like, business license or permits, right? You have make a first sale. You had hire, at least one employee. You have you open a bank account, and also you have incur business expense, right? That's including like accounting, legal, and other like business expenses like utilities or whatever, right? And then you'll be good. So now like different SBDCs or the take center might have slightly different requirement, but mostly the same, but they might have some little subtle, differences. So let's say if you don't apply, through us, like through MPDA, San Jose Business Center, then what you want to do is to contact your local SBDCs and then find out, what their requirement is. And I mentioned that there's a training program component. So for the training program, now I'm only speak for the MBDA San Jose Business Center, right? So other SBDC, they might have a slightly different requirement. So we offer you 10 small business topics. And then from the 10, you need to pick like 8 different modules or classes. So each session is about 60 to 90 minutes, mostly 60 minutes, and they're all online. So they on demand. So it's not in person. And then so after you finish all the classes, then you need to complete at least one-on-one consulting sessions. Okay, so I finished talk about the California Dream Fund, and so the next alternative non-traditional funding is crowdfunding, right? So I'm sure a lot of you, heard about Kickstarter, Indiegogo, right? So these are basically it's a short time. You raise the fund with a limited time, and then some require you to meet the goal. If you don't meet the fundraising goal, you will get nothing. For example, right? Let's say you set your goal for 20K. For some reason, you only hit 10K, then you may not get anything at all. It depending on the platform. Some platform allow you to do that, even though you don't hit the goal, you still get, whatever you can raise. And then a lot of time, these crowdfunding platform just basically allow small business to start accepting pre-order. Basically, you have a prototype of your product, and then you just promise people, okay, if you buy this now, right? You place the order now, you're gonna get a product delivered to your house like in 6 months or 9 months or whatever, that kind of thing. But as far as the campaign, the period that you can you can do the fundraising is limited, right? Could be like a few weeks, could be less than 3 weeks or whatever, that kind of thing. Then you need so what you need to do is to basically work with the platform and see what kind of guidelines and requirement they have. And I have seen people that are quite successful, right? People able to raise anywhere. I think in general, usually is about maybe like 20K, 30K, or maybe up to 40, 50K. but occasionally you see some are, super successful. They're able to raise maybe like, close to $1 million. So it all depends. It all depends. And of course, like all these like crowdfunding site, they will take a percentage of the amount of money that you raise, right? So these are all for profit platforms. They're not going to do it for free. Okay, so the next one is the peer-to-peer lending. The peer-to-peer lending is more or less the same concept like the crowdfunding concept, but instead of you selling a product, you basically borrow money from the investor. So you need to often you need to have a pitch deck, a good like business plan that include put into a pitch deck to convince the investor that your business have good futures and therefore they will loan you the money. And there's number of peer-to-peer lending platform. The more popular ones like the Upstart, Prosper, funding cycles, they are all funding circle, they are all pretty popular. Just like the crowdfunding platform, they also take a percentage of the money that you raise, right? Again, these are all for profit organization. So they won't do it for free for you. So the next one is the merchant cash advance. The merchant cash advance is mostly for business that they accept credit card payment. So what it does is that you go to some of these company, they give you a lump sum of money upfront, and then in return they take a percentage of your credit card income, your daily credit card income. Right, so if you're a retail shop, you're a restaurant, whatever, so that could be something that you can consider. But usually these kind of loans are short term. Usually they are less than 24 months, and then they require regular payment, small amount of regular payment based on your credit card sales. So company like Credibly, Rapid Finance are some of the merchant cash advance company. So if you're interested in that, so you might, this is like kind of like if you need some cash fast, right? This could be an avenue. Okay, so now is a bonus. I want to talk about the Meta Invoice Fast Track program. This is a very good program. Meta, as you know, is now the parent company of Facebook, right? They changed the company name from Facebook to Meta. So Facebook now is just an app, it's just a tool. So they're doing it. It's not because of big money. They want to actually help out small business. So what's the program? So it's basically you can get paid faster. Right, much faster. So if you are, a distributor, for example, let's say a distributor, your wholesaler, a lot of time, you bump into a payment term of like, even your, consulting services, right? So you may bump into a payment term of like, 30 days, 60 days, and then sometimes when even though it's a net 30, you won't get paid until net 60, net 90. Right, so sometimes it will create a cash flow issues for your small business. Now, the program that Meta has is like basically they charge like you upload. Well, first of all, right, you need to be accepted to the program. So once you got accepted to the program, you just upload your invoice, and then you pay Meta 1%. It's like basically just for the administration fees. And then you usually the merchant will get paid within 1 to 2 days, right? So if you want to have quick cash, right? So this is something you might want to consider. right? Because it's it just only costs you 1%. So for some reason, right? So if let's say for some reason, right, you're not able to collect whatever the amount in the invoice, actually the loss is Facebook's loss. It's your loss. It's your loss, right? So so this is something that I think they kind of like doing something for social good. Okay, so who's eligible? So basically, they try to help like minority-owned business, women-owned business, U.S. The veterans, LGBTQ people, or people with disabilities, or company that, and then also the company to have a credit rating of B or above, right? So first thing you need to do is to get your company certified. So over here, like I list a number of organizations that can help you to process your certification. So you can contact any one of these. So once you have your certification done, and then you can apply, and then get invited to the Meta invoice fast track program, right? So if you Google like Meta invoice fast track, you will be able to see all the information. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have. So here's my contact information. So Amanda, what you might want to do is also type in your like email address or something like that in case in case people want to contact you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Porter. That was a lot of information. So I only have one question actually. Okay, and then so we want to know if the recording will be uploaded.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, yeah. We have the session recorded. We will post it, and then yeah, you can we will send you the link.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that was the only question I have.
So do we have any other questions? So again, it's like, any one of you who are interested to apply for the California Dream Fund, just please send me or Amanda an email. And then when our application window open, we will contact you. Okay, so if no more question, I think, that's it for the day. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Marianne. So yeah, so
Okay.
okay, so do you have something to say, Marianne?
Just want to thank everyone for joining in today.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a good
Not
evening.
recording.
Bye.